so I'm going to install this 50 amp outlet for my RV. I got it from Home Depot for about 50 bucks. So yeah, so this is it. I already opened it up and pretty much it's all in there nicely, but I just unscrewed this to see what I'm working with back here. And yeah, so, and then you obviously need the 50 amp double pole breaker. So I got that from Home Depot as well. I don't know what it cost, maybe 20 bucks, or maybe I'm way overshooting that. But then I got some more of the liquid tight 3/4 inch. And then got some liquid tight connectors. So just like this, I got 2 more of those, and then some clamps, and then the, can't remember what it's called, number 8 TTHN or THHN copper. So yeah, so I'm gonna install this right now then. All right, so I don't have electric hooked up yet, but if I did, obviously you'd flip this main breaker off, and right now mine is in the off position. All right, so I popped the panel covering off, and now I'm free to choose wherever I want to throw that breaker. From there, I'm gonna pop up these holes to the knockouts to route this wire. All right, so screwdriver and hammer knocked out this one. This one would not work simply because if you look at how wide the connector is below, it would have hit that knockout, or pretty much wouldn't have allowed the other connector to be in there, so I just went one over. Okay, so then I'm going to use those 3 holes in there, and that's what I'm going to use to attach this to the, or hang this on this little 2x6 right here. I kind of already got it sketched out, but it's just going to be shifted. Right, so the screws I had were just a little close from going through, so I just threw some washers on it and screwed them in there. All right, hindsight, pop one of your knockouts out first before mounting it, just so you can get like a better angle at it, but I mean, it's fine either way. All right, so now I'm gonna put this liquid tight connector in here, put this top ring on, screw that on. All right, so now I gotta see where I wanna be about. I'm gonna, you know, put this, let's put this cap on here. Shove that in there. Everything sucks on one hand. All right. Oh boy. All right, and then I'm basically gonna form this and see right here, like what's gonna be the best. Should I run the 90 out and just have that loop in there, or run the straight connector out and just do another loop like this one? So the decision was easy to go with the straight one because minor oversight when I did this one. It just barely was touching that wood, so I could have dropped this box down just a little bit and it would have cleared, but who cares? So I don't know if it's my knife or what, but this liquid tight cuts are really nice. So I'm gonna put the cap on it and then throw it back up in there. Bottom it out, spin it, and then I will probably just throw 1 clamp in it and then another just to see where we're at, and pop this off and shove the wire through just to make that easier. So just to make sure, I need a strap on this within a foot of leaving the panel. So I'll put one kind of similar to where I got it already. All right, so I got that strap on, and then yikes, I got that strap screwed onto there, and now I'm gonna undo this and pop the wiring through just to make it easier. Okay, so I slid the wire through. It's popped out up there, so I'm gonna pop it up into there, have enough, and then cut it. So now I'm gonna pop this breaker, other way. I'm gonna pop this into here, and then I'm gonna take the wires, and I'm pretty much gonna just route them up to that breaker. Mostly just the black and red, because those will be the hots. And then the white will be the neutral, so I'll put that up here, and then the green will be the ground, so I'll tie it in down here. Oh, and then I don't know what I said before, but it's THHN, not TTHN, and it's 8 gauge. Like the ground can be 10 gauge. Okay, so I just got all the wire. So obviously 2 hots are on the breaker. The white is going to be the neutral, so that's on the ground bar. The green is the ground. With this stranded stuff, what I was always told is when you do like skin the wire back or whatever, if you got a stripper, when you rip it off from the sheathing, rotate in a way that goes with the wire so that you don't unwind the strands, if that makes sense. And obviously when you're stripping it, just make sure that you don't cut any of those strands. But so I've never wired up one of these before, but I think it would be like everything else. So out of the box, you know, fist length, cut it, and then the ground is pretty much 2 fist lengths, and cut it. Giving myself extra just in case, you never know. And I'm just hoping that, because it is like harder to bend and everything because it is thicker, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to, if I train the wire correctly, I can push everything in and it'll be fine. Okay, so if you look on the back, it actually says right here like white XY. It's like that's gonna be your neutral, one of the hots. And then I just tied the ground in the back. I looked online, I didn't really see if it needs to be into there, so whatever. If it does, somebody tells me, and then I'll just change it and throw it in there. But technically, I mean, it is bonded. Like this green is bonded to this case, and then my green ground is also bonded to the case, so we'll find out. All right, so these are all going to connect to the bottom of the outlet. So I just kind of put some bends in these. Careful not to bend them like way too tight, but bend them a little bit so that I can get them just like that, attach them in, and then just push this in. So obviously unscrew those, and that's where the wire is going to slide in and then get screwed into. All right, so I gave everything a good tug to make sure it's not loose. And now I'm going to push these all in. So that's that. Now it's in there, the screw's in there, everything's all good. The last thing I got to do is just knock out these two for the 50 amp and then put that in, and we're all set. So that's what it looks like now. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Something to quickly mention that I kind of just went over. So I don't have power on the property, so I can see visibly that the fuse is not in the transformer. So I have a visible disconnect, and then the triplex that runs to the pole, that's also disconnected. So I know that I don't have power there. So I just showed flipping the 200 amp breaker to make sure that it's off. But if you actually had power there, you'd flip that off, but you would still test, or I would still test the two lugs coming down from the meter. So like below the meter, those are only going to be hot if that breaker's on. Flip that breaker, those should be off. So just test that, make sure that you don't have any power feeding into there. Otherwise, yeah, you got an issue. But also the circuit breaker and the panel, you're going to want them to match. So you don't want to like mix and match like brands like Square D, and I don't know if it's Siemens or Siemens, but I know mine's all Siemens, and it was a 50 amp 2-pole breaker, and yeah, so otherwise you'll have fitment issues. So try to make sure that you match those. And then overall it took me about an hour, I think, but I mean, I was also kind of using one hand trying to do things. So I think if you just actually did it, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, still an hour is a good amount of time. So you don't need much for supplies. It was, what was it? Screw, washer, that 50 amp outlet, the RV outlet, the circuit breaker, the liquid tight connectors, and then that wire, whatever it said, THHN, all of that. Oh, and then the clamp, all of that can you get all of it? I think most of that you can get at CED. Can't remember what it stands for, but they're pretty much all over in the country, and it's just like an electrical distribution place. You can go in there. The people in town are pretty cool, so they just spooled me off whatever I needed, and I didn't have to buy like a certain amount, so I was good with just whatever footage I needed. All in all, I think that, what would it be? Probably under $200, under 150. It wasn't that expensive, like $50 for the outlet, about $20 for the circuit breaker, and then random like liquid tight connectors. That was probably like 30. Yeah, clamps, and the wire really wasn't that expensive. So not too hard, not too expensive, and yeah, just an easy way to get a spot to plug in your RV. I'll see if I can figure out how to link the products, because I think maybe I bought some off Amazon, I don't remember, but if I can, I'll link it in there just so you can see exactly what I got, and they'll probably have comparable stuff if you have a different brand. So yeah, so hope that helps.